Hey, what's going on, everyone? Greg here, and we finally have a date and time for Apple's WWDC keynote, and it's going to take place on Monday, June 22nd at 10 a.m. Pacific time, or for people who live on the best coast, the East Coast, it's going to be 1 p.m. Eastern. But while we have received tons of leaks and information regarding specific software that will debut at WWDC this year, and I actually made a more in-depth video on that topic that I will be leaving right up here if you want to check it out, I wanted to talk more about the possibility of any hardware announcements that might be shown off. Let's start off with one of the newer rumors and the one that is most personally exciting to me, and that is that Apple will be showing off a brand new, redesigned iMac. We haven't seen a redesign of the iMac since 2012, and according to a tweet from leaker Sonny Dixon, Apple is planning to show off a new iMac with an iPad Pro design language with Pro Display-like slimmer bezels, a T2 chip, and a Navi GPU, and finally, the removal of the Fusion drive in favor of an all SSD solid-state drive storage architecture. Now, the prevailing thought on this iMac redesign is that Apple will be indeed slimming down the bezels. Most rumors are pointing to the size options of a new 23-inch size being offered, replacing the 21.5-inch, and the 27-inch size sounds like it's going to be the same, but offered in maybe a smaller footprint. The thing I find most interesting about this rumor is Sonny is saying that the iMac will feature an iPad Pro design language with Pro Display-like bezels. Although while I think it's a given that the redesigned iMac would have slimmer bezels, the iPad Pro design language is kind of interesting. Could we see the removal of the iMac chin, speakers on the four corners, Face ID on the iMac, rounded corners for the LCD display? There's so many different possibilities that you could get from this one little line of an iPad Pro-like inspired design. And the reason why I think it's separate from slimmer bezels is because in that leak, he separates those two things, slimmer bezels and an iPad Pro-like redesign. So I think we're going to see an iMac that's maybe a little more flat, maybe slightly thicker to accommodate a better thermal design so they could power those Intel chips at higher turbo boost frequencies. Of course, Sonny also mentions that this iMac will come with the T2 chip. The current 2019 iMac is the only Mac that Apple sells without the T2 chip, so now all of Apple's computers will have the T2 chip for better or worse. Apple will also be getting rid of the spinning drives and fusion drives on the iMac, which is long overdue because those are really, really slow. So they're going to be moving over to all-flash storage architecture. And I think for storage configurations, we could probably expect them to follow a very similar approach to what the 13-inch and 16-inch MacBook Pro has. So I think that it would start at 512 gigabytes, and then you would pay for additional storage. Also, we might be expecting a nice power boost, maybe not in CPU performance, but in GPU performance with the Navi architecture of GPUs. So we're finally going to get a really nice upgrade to the iMac's GPUs, which currently you can max out with a Vega 48. But what I'm seeing from these new Navi GPUs after my testing with the 16-inch MacBook Pro and the Radeon Pro 5500M, I think that's going to be a really nice upgrade. Also, 10th generation Intel chips. Hopefully we see some other additions which Mac laptops haven't had yet, like the addition of Wi-Fi 6, and maybe even some higher core count options than 8-core. I wonder if Apple is going to keep the iMac Pro around anymore, or if they're just going to completely replace it with this brand new redesigned iMac. Because if Apple is redesigning the iMac and they're keeping around the iMac Pro with that old design, I feel like that's going to be an awkward spot in the lineup. The second hardware product, where I think there's a good chance we'll see it at WWDC this year, is a brand new Apple TV. This Apple TV is another one that's been rumored for a long time, and we've heard rumors from our good buddy Jon Prosser. Now, this isn't a major upgrade or anything crazy like that. We're basically just expecting a spec bump of the current Apple TV 4K, which now ships with an A10X chip, and this new Apple TV would have a faster A12X processor. The upgrade in the processor is mainly to help it play titles for Apple Arcade, so we could see a focus on gaming for this next Apple TV release. Apple wants to sell their Apple Arcade service, and they're even rumored to be working on their own physical controller. There's also another rumor that they may be making a redesign for the remote, but I don't know how much you should read into this, considering the last redesign was just a white rubber circle around a button. Another hardware product I think that we might see at WWDC is those long-rumored Apple headphones. I haven't heard much about these recently, but a few months ago, our friend Jon Prosser said that Apple is aiming to have them ready to show off at WWDC this year. Prosser says Apple will be calling these the AirPods Studio, and they will retail for a price of $350. Now, just like the AirPods Pro, we are expecting a very similar feature set, like the H1 chip for faster pairing, low latency, and syncing with all of your Apple devices. We also expect these high-end headphones to have noise cancellation and transparency modes, just like the AirPods Pro. Recent rumors say that Apple will allow you to customize these headphones with a modular design that allows users to swap out the ear pads with the use of magnets. Not only that, but supposedly Apple will be allowing users to swap the headphone band of the headphones as well through a magnetic system. This is a really smart idea because headphones are also another area where personal style matters a lot. Apple has certainly proven with the Apple Watch that users love to change the look of their products with new bands, and these headphones would kind of have that same concept. We don't know too much about the final design of AirPods Studio. We did get a leak of the headphone icon in iOS 14. And Mr. Tech Boy over in the Greg's Gadgets Discord made these renders of them, and they actually look really cool. By the way, my Discord hates that I never plug it, and honestly, I don't see why I should be plugging my Discord. It's like this secret society where all the Greg's Gadgets fans gather and talk, and honestly, you can personally talk to me there, ask me anything you want. So I guess if you want to join the Discord, I'll leave a link in the description, but personally, I like the small size of it because, you know, I'm a busy guy, and if you guys just keep asking me questions, I'm just gonna have to answer all of them, and then no more videos, and then I quit. So join the Discord. It's gonna be great, I promise. You know, and no pressure, no pressure. Anyway, thank you again to Mr. Tech Boy for making these renders for me. He also made the renders for the AirTags, which I'm about to show you, and you can find his YouTube channel in the description below. Now, like I just mentioned, another product we are expecting are the long-rumored Bluetooth trackers, which Apple will be calling AirTags. I mean, Apple has already leaked the name of AirTags. They leaked it back in April during a support video, and you can see the name AirTags clearly labeled right there. Now, from what we can tell, these AirTags will be very similar to other Bluetooth-based tracking systems already on the market. The biggest and most obvious one that comes to mind is Tile, but Apple will be in a unique position because they will be able to leverage their entire Find My network, which includes the location data of Apple devices like iPhones, iPads, and MacBooks. So for example, if you put this AirTag on, say, a bag and you leave your bag behind, there's a good chance that someone with an iPhone is going to walk by it, and when that iPhone receives that location data from the AirTag, it would be able to ping you and show the precise location of your lost item. Furthermore, if you have an iPhone 11 or better, you will get even better tracking experience thanks to Apple's U1 chip, which can let you point your iPhone around to see the exact location your AirTag would be in. Based on rumors, it looks like Apple is working on ways to help you find AirTags through the U1 chip through an AR system. Mac Rumors uncovered some assets that Apple might show you exactly where your lost item is as you point your iPhone around the room. Based on that, there will be additional features to let you know if you left an item behind, so your iPhone can actually ping you as you're leaving a location so you don't forget your item. AirTags are also rumored to have a replaceable battery. As for the cost, we have no idea at this point, but knowing Apple, I'm expecting these to be charged at a premium. So if you were asking me, I would say maybe around $40 at the lowest. Okay, now there's one more hardware announcement I think we might see at WWDC, and I put this one as the last possible one because it's the one I have the least confidence in seeing. But we might actually see another MacBook at this year's WWDC. Even though we just had a recent refresh of the MacBook Air and 13-inch MacBook Pro, there might be another MacBook Pro coming. Now, I have a couple of reasons to think this. The first reason is because of this Jon Prosser tweet. This tweet was in response to an article saying that Apple will announce the move to ARM-based Macs later this month. Now, this is something we actually discussed in a recent video when I was talking about the ARM transition. There might actually be physical products shown off in the way of a MacBook or a souped-up MacBook Pro running on these ARM processors. Apple is going to want to show off something to show just how much faster their system on a chip can be than going with Intel. And if Apple is planning to do an ARM transition in 2021, as Bloomberg is reporting, most likely they are going to have to show ARM Max off at WWDC this year because they do need to give developers a big heads up for them to start working on porting over their apps based on Intel's architecture over to Apple's ARM architecture. So even though you won't be able to purchase this ARM MacBook that we might see at WWDC, it will at least be shown off to show you how much faster it is than Intel's processors, and also to give an indication of the benefits of why Apple is moving over to their own A-series chips. But anyway, those are all the hardware announcements I think that we will see at WWDC this year. Please let me know in the comments below, do you agree with me on what hardware we will see? Also, what other hardware would you like to see that I didn't mention in this video? As always, if you like the video, make sure you give me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, well, make sure you're subscribed. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.